podcast.
Thank you, Mark.
We were still talking about you being a web developer, a blog writer, and you being an actor. But also, thank you for sitting through the whole setup, really. Not everyone has the patience to wait through what we do. Also, women may messed up the process. It's not yet back. So I kept debating, like, let me wait for it back because it's easier when I don't have to pull power from wherever I have to pull it to here.
Okay.
But thank you for that. So please tell me about you. We're still talking about you as a blog post writer and an actor who is not acting anymore because everything that involves hard work you don't want.
I'm actually very hardworking, but I think my issue comes with working with different people. I am afraid of delegating tasks, I should say, because most of the people I work with want to work with me because of what they have seen me done. And when I get several clients, of course I can't work on like 5 people at the same time. They want what they've seen me do, but I can't do that for everyone. So if I give it to someone else, like handle this project for me or handle this client for me, most times they won't do like the way I do it, which scares me because clients will think, okay, what is happening? Because we see what you're doing on your pages. It's good and we want that for ourselves.
What are you doing on your pages?
I do a lot of...
Yeah, just take me through. I just want to understand what you do works. So take me through it all like I am in P1.
Okay.
But I have a small business. Because also part of the reason I have you on the podcast is I want to understand and learn and see if some of the things I've been implying are wrong. See where to change.
Okay.
And share with you what has worked for me. I don't know if it has worked. I don't know if this is working. There is that.
I think it's working.
Yeah. But please.
Okay, so my name is Joy Akatukunda. I am so many things. I am a multi-talented person. I've grown up with so many passions and hobbies. I think when I was young, I used to think I would be like an actress. I really love Scarlett Johansson. So yeah, somehow along the way, I used to write on Wattpad. I have, I think, 3 books. I have a novella and 2 short stories. One of my short stories actually...
You have 3 books?
They're on Wattpad. And I think for now, most of them are unpublished. I think there's only like 2 short stories that are currently available right now. But one of them...
I think I've never seen you post that you published Arthur at some point.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So Wattpad is a publishing, writing platform for anyone who wants to write. If that's something that's special to you. Personally, for me, I always had the skill. I was always good at English in school, and I used to read novels a lot. There's a time in my O-levels when I think I had read most of the books in our library. Yeah. And so how I came to start writing on Wattpad, I used to have a lot of things that I want to share, but I'm also the kind of person who doesn't know who to share with, because all through school I used to be the person people would talk to and would rely on, and it used to scare me. If people think you are strong for them, if you listen to them, how will they see you when you break down in front of them? Because I don't want them to lose that kind of faith in me. That's what I did not want. So I started writing down my thoughts and my feelings, and I kept writing, and it became a short story. It became like almost a book. It was so many pages. So I published it on Wattpad, and people started commenting, this is good. Of course, I kept adding things that were not real. I kept adding a bit of fiction, but most of it was an experience that I had gone through. Yeah. So the book is up there. It has, I think, 3 awards right now. But fast forward, how I came into acting. I used to attend writing events. I've attended a workshop with African Writers Trust. Yeah. I think the last one I attended, Okain Dibe was in the country. He's an American writer, originally from, I think, Ghana or Nigeria. I think it's Nigeria. Yeah, so when I attended that workshop, that's where I met most of writers, actors. So that's how I got into this network of creatives who basically write scripts and all that. Yeah, so that's how I through that connection, that's how I met
scripts as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's how I met Daleman, who is a producer. He makes movies, he's a director, and he writes too. That's how I met him. And one time we had talked and I told him I would like to be like in a movie, and he had seen me write a few things. So he called me and it's like, we have a show you can do. Would you like to act? I'm like, yeah. That was the first time I was in a movie. It's called Mama and Me. I think it airs on Magic Prime. I don't know if it's still airing right now. Yeah, but most times people call me, they're like, we saw you on TV. I'm like, yeah. I did that like so many years ago. I was still at campus when we shot that, but it's still running. So when I hear people calling me, I'm like, okay. I thought it stopped running because I had like six or 4 episodes in the series.
Does that pull you back into like the acting, just that feeling?
Yeah, I mean it's thrilling coming from a background being a writer. If when I act, it feels good because having created people, created livelihoods and characters and giving them lives and creating all these things in my head. So when I act, it feels like you're actually bringing something to life, much as it might not be my own story, but it is someone else's story. And I believe all movies we have seen, all music videos, there's always a background story to it. Someone does not just wake up and write something. It's always inspired by something. So the idea, most of the ideas are actually inspired by real events, but when you keep adding things to it and add thoughts like, what if I do this? What if I give this guy wings? What could he do? What could he become? Could he become a superhero? So it becomes a whole thing. But I believe most of the movies that we watch are inspired by something in the real world. And these ideas turn into things that we see on TV.
Do you ever immerse part of your personal stories into character when you're acting?
Into character? No. I don't think so.
How do you separate yourself from the character when you see what scenes have you acted? You been a girlfriend to someone?
No. I acted in the movie Mama and Me. So I'm a very close friend to an influencer. It was kind of weird because at the time
you were in a relationship.
I was the influencer, but I was acting as someone who was looking up to an influencer. In the movie, this girl is an influencer who has big dreams. She's getting all these brand sponsorships and collaborations, and I'm like, wow, this is actually things I have lived through in real life. So in the movie, I'm acting as someone who looks up to her, and I also want to be an influencer. But because I want to be like her so much, it gets me to a point where I'm doing things to spite her. Like I ended up damaging her reputation just to make people think that she's not a good person. But in real life, I was like, this character I'm acting is a terrible person. Why would you sabotage someone's business, just because you're not where they're at? Yeah, so I feel like that's not me, because I wouldn't do that in real life.
Some motivational stuff like that on your timeline.
Yeah.
Do you?
I think the things I post are things I see, experiences around me, whether it is in relationships, whether it is in business, or finding something you love, discovering your passion, just things I have been through that really inspire me to say those things. Because most times people will not react to what you write, but there could be one person, just one person, who will see that, and it will change the way he or she looks at the world, or how they react to situations around them or their work. So that's why I do it.
Do you enjoy lights?
Do I enjoy what? Lights.
Cameras.
I don't know, maybe.
Because that's what you're acting, the whole influencer thing. Then on a personal level, I think I know you've had a relationship with an influencer, a friend of mine. So it's not like a bad thing. But do you feel like you like you're addicted. It's an addiction people don't realize.
No. For me, it's not an addiction.
It's not okay. When
I found myself in the influencing industry, I didn't even know how I got there, but
you are chosen to be there.
Yeah, it found me, maybe. Yeah, because it's crazy how the whole influencer marketing industry started in Uganda. I mean,
Do you know how it started?
I don't know how it started, but of course, when I joined Twitter, I saw all these people, creators, and by the time I joined Twitter, they were...
Let me brag a little bit.
Uh-huh.
In 2014, 2015, I kind of introduced hashtag marketing online.
Wow. Online?
In
You're
Uganda
lying.
I'm not lying.
In Uganda,
They're
it's
facts.
understandable. Online?
Yeah. Online is big. Like,
yeah, it's big.
In our demographic, like, I had, and it's how it spiraled up to a lot of other people doing it. One, I was what you would want to call Twitter famous. I had a relationship on Twitter. I used to speak a lot about iPhones, and those are things like the keywords you can throw in and people think you're cool. Like, the internet has this whole cloud of perception. Yeah, you can just pimp your face and post on Instagram and you're the hottest person even if you don't. So that is how it works. So then I used to be like the talk. Like, also I used to like inspiring people, chaos, what are going to fight.
Yeah,
the energy. Like,
the time I came onto Twitter,
like,
that's what used to happen. I mean, people used to live off of that. Fights, catfishing, and what?
I was selling juice when I was still at Olympia. So I had a juice thing going on. But then I used to do a league. It was the Marketer 5 side. So it really gave people light to how numbers can turn into influence without them really being influencers. Because influencers are people like really get you into a position to change your mind about stuff. Like, they have lived enough experiences that you trust their experiences, that you'd rather just match up to them than recreate some mistakes, if you don't see them. So it worked really good. Trended. I was in boardrooms with Pepsi, what. Companies were picking it up on. It became a big thing.
Good for you.
But it was like how Chameleon was a superstar when there was bad management. So it didn't count. Like, I didn't understand what I had done,
you did not know
but
what
it
you
was
were
really
doing.
good.
Yeah.
Trends, like every game days, the games used to happen at around Panamera. That was like a thing. I saw like 500 without having a billboard in Kampala, without having radio ads, without having, but everyone used to come. Like, people used to know about it. People, like, I would meet my friends in the streets who don't really have the internet, but they know it's the talk. Like, also the experiences were good. Like, it felt like how you'd feel when you had first attended Nyege Nyege. I don't know if you went for the very first one they did.
Never.
But the experience. You've never attended any?
No.
You seem like someone who would not miss any.
It's not my kind of crowd.
Well, what's your kind of crowd?
I don't know. My kind of crowd is probably live band. I love music, but I feel like the Nyege Nyege crowd is loud. It's people
There's
who
a lot
are...
of music in
There's
Nyege
a
Nyege.
lot of music. There's a lot
there's a lot
of
of stages.
drinking. There's a lot of... And people, when they drink, they...
You don't like people who drink?
I don't like to be around them.
You don't go to the bar?
No, really.
You don't endorse beer companies? How do you enjoy your free time? Like,
I used to,
you're
but
still you don't have to drink. The bar, I don't like alcohol.
I used to work for a beer company, but as I grew into my work, as I learned more about online marketing and social media marketing, it started to feel like I wasn't supposed to be pushing a brand that I'm really not, because I don't drink, and I felt like I had to tell the person who had contacted me who used to contact me for those contracts that I can't be doing this kind of gigs anymore, because it just did not feel right. It didn't sit right with me to be telling people, please come and drink this, but I don't drink it. I don't even know what it tastes like. So I chose to pull back out of that And even right now, I do not do gigs that do not align with what I believe in. If I don't use a product, I'm most likely not going to say something about it. So right now I want to work with brands or talk about things that I know about, that I actually know, or that I enjoy, things like that. And right now I have changed how I work because now I'm a digital marketer. I have been certified, so I have learned a lot. I am a learned influencer. Not an influencer who just jumps on things, right? Yeah.
You're doing this professionally, right?
Yes.
You spoke
Though
of being certified.
I do influencer marketing right now, part-time. Right now, I'm mostly into digital marketing and social media marketing.
How do you market a podcast?
How do I market?
How would you?
How would I?
You had a podcast, right? You have a podcast.
No, I did not have a
YouTube
podcast,
channel.
but I've always wanted to do a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation. But how would you market a podcast? Well, yeah, we're going to talk about your podcast, how we can give it life. That is also, I'll tell you that is what we do. We produce.
Okay.
We produce the biggest number of podcasts in this country.
Nice.
We also produce the biggest podcasts, including this is a big podcast.
I know it's a big podcast.
So you are with the podcast industry, and people have not really picked up on it, but they are. I see all the Kaushengas are doing this. Everyone is doing this.
Yeah, it's catching up right now.
So yeah, really, we'll speak about that. But how would you market a podcast?
I think,
like, roughly, you don't have to. Also, that's the beauty of the podcast. You don't have to give an expert opinion.
I know, but what the most important thing is understanding who you want to listen to your podcast. Take big conversations by ordinary people is for, I think most of the people I've seen here are like millennials, right? Yes. Millennials, okay. And
I think
a little bit of Gen Z. It's like in between there, like 25. I think the maximum is like 40, right?
Yeah, 45.
Yeah.
42.
And then
42. Yeah.
In Uganda, which people listen to podcasts, because since it is in Uganda, you're going to first grab the audience you have in Uganda before you can grab international audiences.
Also, let me just pause you there. Part of why we are doing this is because we want the podcasts to rival the music. Like, you see how Chameleon, Bebe Cool, Bobby Wine claim they really took the industry to some level, and they did stuff. Like, they had to go through this. It's not about the numbers, it's not about the trends, it's not about any of that. We repeatedly keep saying this, me and my other co-hosts.
So you're like, you want to pioneer podcasting?
No, people have been doing podcasts before us.
Yeah, I know that, but where are they? Exactly. Why don't I know about them? Exactly. So even if they were there, I believe there were so many artists before Chameleon and who, but why don't people know them like they do Chameleon and the others? Right?
So want more people to listen to conversations? This is
then
why...
if you want more people to listen to conversations, then talk about things that people want to hear.
Like what? What do you think people that listen to you want to hear from you?
For me, I think people that listen to me, people who are in my audience, they want to know how they can use social media to grow their business.
Are you sure? And a big chunk of people in your audience, they are because you're a very beautiful woman. they have illusions or crushes on you. Don't you ever think about it like that? That maybe if I switched up content to...
You know, that actually happened to me. The real reason I had to let go of my previous Instagram account was because I switched niches, because before I was like an influencer and now I am training or teaching people how to use social media for themselves. So I understood that the audience I had before was focused on me because they used to see me visiting places, going out and showing them around, because I used to do vlogs, touring places. I had a segment called Places and People where I would just go to places and show people this is this place, this is what it's called, these are the prices if you'd like to check it out. So the audience it was about me, the content was about me, so people used to be there either because of me, because of where I've been. But when I started doing marketing, I realized the engagement was going down. People were not listening to me because that is not what they were used to. That's not what they wanted. So I had to pull back from that account, and I started afresh from an Instagram account which is focused on social media marketing and teaching people the things that I have learned. Because if you go on Instagram right now, like so many in my circles, so many people we know, they have started pages on Instagram. Right now it's at 500 on the new account. So many people we know started pages in lockdown to sell things online because you could not go out to the mall or to kiosks to sell these things. So there's so many people doing business on Instagram and other social media platforms, but they're not doing it right. The other challenge I think I see, the other thing I see a lot is most small business owners in Uganda, most people, they want to work as long as they can get enough money to survive today and tomorrow, as long as they have enough money to go to the bar, maybe to take a short trip to Ginger, then that's enough for them. But I want to work with people who want to build brands, people who want to build wealth. It's not what I think, but it's what I have seen. When people are making enough money to sustain their lifestyle, that's it. Yeah. But I want to work with people who have owners, big dreams. Not all of them, but most small businesses I'm seeing on Instagram and
what want to define as a big dream.
Yeah. I guess some people's big dreams are, as long as I'm able to live large.
What are your big dreams?
So big, I can't say them right here.
For real?
Yeah, so big they scare me. Yeah.
Do I have a big dream? I don't think I have big dreams.
I think I wouldn't call it a dream, but I think my goal or purpose in life is to change people's lives with the knowledge that I have.
All right. Well, lucky for me, I already have a podcast and I can host someone like you to give them the knowledge. So somehow I'm contributing to that. But when you go to dreams, I remember when I was young, and this is just me and my character. The things that I really have wanted, I have tried to get. Like, I've admired big cars, and I've not owned any, but I've driven all of them.
You have driven?
All of them.
Oh, that counts.
Circles that have them, I can have them. So then, the excitement, of course, I want to have the big cars, I want to have a big home, like any other person, yeah. Like, I want all this fancy stuff, But if I died today, I'd be happy without even that, because then I've been there. Like, there's nothing defining as big, but I work hard.
Okay.
I trust myself on that. I come through every day. I show up to work every single day. And this is weird because I employ myself, but then I have to show up to work every single day. So I have that discipline that for me to get anything I want, I need to put in the work. I also listen to motivation. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Does motivation work?
Yeah, motivation does work.
It does work, but not all the time. There are times when I've desperately needed to listen to something motivation, but the moment the sound stops, when they stop speaking, I go back and I'm like, when I was listening, like I was so fired up to do the next thing, but when it stops, I think there are times when your mind just wants to,
It depends on what you call motivation. Because again, like I've told you, you're not going to tell me, go to work, you need to buy a good car and I'll get out of bed. No. It's, for me, my motivation comes on how have you been a better person, yeah? Because I relate my life to the stories of how my life has been occurring. From right from nursery, from the women I have dated, and why we're falling out, and all that, and why I've had issues with people. So I collect all that, and it informs how I want to be with anything else, with the next person I'm working with, or the next person I'm sleeping with everything, with how I want to treat my son, with how I want to treat my relationships with people that have to matter even if they shouldn't, with my parents, with the streets where I've been raised. So it's a collection of from what I consider my bad to that being better. Yeah. But there's no like ground because it's so people are selling a lot of assets. It's stupid. You look at what you call standard Forbes millionaire, and then the stories around them are not good. Then maybe you don't
Not just the stories. I've heard that some people buy their space on the list. I was so shocked and I was so disappointed because those are people I used to look up to.
It's a
people on that list.
To buy
I know, and I get you. But why? Why should it be? I thought Forbes picks this people because they have done something. Yes, some people on that list are there because they've earned it, right?
Do you see yourself on the Forbes list?
Yes, I would.
Is it just do you think it's a stupid dream you have? It's a
No,
fantasy?
I don't think it's stupid. But then after I heard that people buy their names to the list, I started to feel like this is not authentic.
How old are you right now?
23.
23.
Yeah.
You still have a lot of time. Oh, wow.
Why are you saying wow?
I thought you were like 25.
Why? I look 25.
No, not about the looks. It's about you. In my mind, she has graduated. She's also trying to employ herself. People, you don't jump out of graduation and employ. It's hard if you don't go through like the employment. Like self-employment is so hard that it's so draining. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You need to have a whole laid strategy. It usually
I did not have a strategy, but I was lucky that I was already into the online space before I left university. And before I graduated, I did an internship with Bank of Uganda. But I really felt like that was not for me. That was not the kind of work I wanted to do because I did not see...
What were you doing in the bank?
After I left internship, I was in the economic research department. I studied business statistics at university. So, yeah. But I felt like doing all these statistics and running data sheets and doing modeling for economic stuff. Yeah, I felt like it was good. It was inspiring. But at the end of the day, what happens when we get these results? Are we using them to benefit the people who are down there in downtown? The actual people who these numbers and projections are affecting.
In the making.
I don't know, but
and this is why
I just feel like yes, people do these things, and it was really inspiring for me to learn how these projections are gotten. But I didn't feel like it was making an impact. Yeah, and for me, I need to impact people's lives. So I feel like being self-employed helps me do that because I work with people one-on-one. If you can help someone get from point A to be and they are doing something for themselves, they will forever be grateful to you. And for me, that makes me feel good because if I can help someone learn how to sustain themselves financially, then that really fills me with gratitude.
Have you helped any people sustain themselves so far?
Yes, I have taught several people how
through promoting their businesses online. Yeah?
Yes.
That's a strategy.
Yes. But then it all goes back to the individual. Because me, I may be the kind of person who's going to fight until I see what I want come to life. But not everyone is like that. Some people will let the things around them become excuses like, oh, this happened. I gave up on the business. Nothing makes me special, but there are people who depend on me, and that's my biggest motivation. Yeah, I am the first of 6 siblings. Yeah, so I really have like kids behind me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
6 siblings. I think 8, but I am in the middle there.
You're in the middle, so I have a lot of responsibility on me. I'm the first, everyone is looking at me.
So that is how I was judging your age. It was on, okay, she probably got employed, then got out, made up savings, or maybe you have a sugar daddy that's sustaining your life. There's that option.
No, I don't have one. I've never thought of it as an option for me.
Money is money.
Yeah, money is money, but I've Growing up, I think I have had my fair share of challenges. When I was 10, from a young age towards when I was 10, 11.
You are 23. Don't forget that. When you say you've had a fair share of challenges.
I'm telling you, this is my story. Let me tell you. I used to be the child who was like really, really loved.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to be, I think, my dad's favorite. But things changed.
Don't you think that's such a big ego for you to assume?
I know, I'm telling you.
Okay.
But things changed when my dad remarried. So I came from being
a favorite
to someone who was rarely thought of.
Yeah.
Me and my brother were pushed like there in the background. We were actually moved to Masaka, so that's where I did even my O-levels. So staying there was really, really hard. First of all, that change, me coming from a school that I considered to be a good school to this school that I was like, oh my God, how do I tell these people I'm from here and now I'm from here? I had to cut my hair when I went to Masaka. So the change was overwhelming for me. I was only 12. And then seeing my mom go through so many hardships throughout that time till I finished senior 4 just really made me feel like I wanted to do something for myself and for my family. Just in case someone disappeared from my life, I was able, to be there for them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think your dad will listen to this?
I don't know, but even if he does. Yeah.
How much of your school do you think defines the person you are? Like, don't you think... how much of school
do
you think matters in your life? Like, going to Masaka, to what you're doing now. When you look back...
I went to Masaka, it says, for O-level.
So, first of all, that's a very good school.
Yeah, it is a good school.
Yeah.
When I was in Masaka, I felt like, I could have been at Gayaza, I could have been at where. But right now, all that does not matter. Because I have employed people who have went to Gayaza and I am directing them at different things. And to me, or to how society looks at it, those are A students. They are top students. They're supposed to be leaders. They're supposed to be this and that. But it's not right. That's not how things always work. Is it how
society looks at it, or is it?
It's when you're a teenager.
When you produce data.
When you're in school, even the data schools. These schools have so many people in first class. They have so many 8 points. They have so many 20 points.
Work against the data.
No, by the way, my mom always tells me. She used to tell this to me. If you could be smart in class, but not have so many schools to start staying you out of school. And we've seen so many people are like that. They have 20 points. They got 8 points. They're like top.
How many people?
They were like top people.
And they're grumbling.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I know this guy who used to be like the best in my class. Oh my God, I will never forget this guy because he was the best in everything. But what used to annoy me is you could go, you know how you can go, to a sharp student, like, please help me with this number or something. I will never forget this guy told me, you see, you do not read books. This is the reason you perform the way you perform or the reason you fail. Not the reason you fail. Not that I was a bad performer. I actually used to be in, I think, like the top 50. But... I that really made me feel bad. Just because you're so smart does not make you a king or a god.
What's the meaning?
And right now, what I'm trying to show you is right now, this guy is nowhere to be seen. I mean, I have connections with some of the people I went to school with, but no one even talks about him. So where is he? What did his
Remember the thing I told you
him
about success? And how different people define it in different ways. And also how it happens. Like, it's like gradual process to different people, yeah? What the urban child would call as success, I had at 23. I could go back to a house that was really relatively cool. I was driving a car. I was cohabiting with a very beautiful woman. I had a child. Yeah,
that is a measure of success.
Not to a lot of people, by the way.
Are you serious?
Yes, to a lot of people, they want to go back to a car.
That's a bit absurd.
when we go to society constructs on success, that's it. Own a house,
I guess so.
yeah, be happy, put up a show with people. But of course, we have bigger dreams than that. So when you say he's nowhere to be seen, you don't know that he's the next Kendrick Lamar. He could be writing bars and he's going to win a Grammy from nowhere.
Very possible.
Yeah. And smartness is relative. Yeah. When people always look at, okay, the results really show it that if people have been successful in school, they also tend out to be successful. Let it be on the streets or in business or what, because they have the discipline.
They have
to
the
fit
discipline.
into what it takes to achieve. If they have set trademarks that pass marks are 50, they will go and get
Yeah, but the other thing I have seen, school has nothing to do with what you do with yourself outside school.
How much of the school has helped you?
I'm doing business, but most of the things I have gone through, I have learned in the years I have done self-employment work. There are really few things that I learned from school that I can implement here. Yeah, I learned how to do a business planning in school, but when you're doing it outside here, it's nothing like you learned there. Like, there's so much you have to think about. I don't know if that's the way we're taught, because yes, the material is real, it's true, it's important, but the application, I guess the way we apply it is very different from the way it is taught, which I don't know, which puts us at a disadvantage, because you will think it's going to be as easy because I got an 8 in that paper, it's going to be easy for me doing the business. But it's not like that. It doesn't work like that.
How do you see your business? Like, how big do you want it to be? Why do you see it?
I see it as one of
What's your definition of success for your business?
my definition of success.
For the business. Like, now I am where you'll feel the need to motivate us on Twitter every morning.
I feel like
a background.
the level where I will think it's now a success is I want it to be the biggest agency supporting creators and small business owners.
How do you support creators? We are creators. How do you come in support?
By the way, you are creators.
Explain how
let
you
me
market the podcast.
Have because you kept talking. You did not let me finish. You kept bringing in different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But
yes, I want to have a look at your social media. I want to have a look at your YouTube and see what you are doing. If you are doing things right.
What
you see, for you,
for doing things right?
Big Conversations by Ordinary People is a podcast.
Remember, this is just one thing,
right? Okay, this is only the small.
A million things I do. Yeah.
Right, but if we are looking at just a little bit of the work I do. For example, you have a great podcast. You have amazing guests, and you're a great host yourself, but how are you putting out this information there? It's not as easy as getting an interesting clip segment of your podcast and putting it out there. I think one of the things I have seen people do not think about when it comes to marketing on social media is the copy. And it really, really matters. Someone will upload very nice content, very good video quality is okay, the transitions and everything, the sounds are really okay, but the message is off, or the wording is just not right. The message aside, keywords are very important in how you market yourself. So for a podcast, there are, depending on the topic you are talking about in the...
Just like this conversation, there's no specific topic. Yeah,
there's no specific topic. But maybe keywords, your podcast, and the name of the podcast itself. And what, should I say niche or category would you consider this podcast fall under? I would say it's like interviews mostly, because I listen to a lot I've listened to marketing podcasts, I have listened to business podcasts. So when you go to the charts, they categorize them, right? So where would you categorize this podcast? Exactly. So you would need to go and do a keyword research on the specific terms that podcasts under society and culture use and see what words are relevant to people, that kind of audience. Those are the words you want to use in your copy, but they must be still...
So you're a copywriter as well?
Yeah, but they must be still relevant to that specific video. It just has to make sense. You see the way people do SEO? There's a lot of things within there, but it has to make sense to the reader. I know you want to attract people, but if you just put keywords there, podcast, big conversations, so when someone reads it, it won't make sense. So it has to be a message that makes sense, but then very well crafted with keywords in specific areas.
So you said you wanted to do a podcast?
Yeah, I wanted to.
What would your podcast be about?
I think it would be about finding your passion, social media, and
Do you believe
business.
in passion?
Yeah, I do believe in passion. I believe...
Do you love what you do?
Yeah, I do enjoy what I do. I believe there are higher chances for someone to be successful if they are doing work related to something they are really passionate about.
If you are doing something you're not passionate about and we're giving you 100 million per month, let's say, I don't think people enjoy being MPs.
They do enjoy being MPs.
No, they don't. There's money. Mm-hmm. People look at it from the business side, so they invest to get.
Of course.
But I'm saying the actual enjoyment. Like, I feel like Joy Akatukunda wakes up like, oh my God. I have to go. I have to go and sign. There's some 50 million coming. Let me go and sign for it. But shit, I wish I would be doing something.
I really am a person.
But also, this goes back to our conversation before we actually switched on the mics on how you gave up on your YouTube channel. So how do you think you're going to pass a podcast? And let me tell
I
you,
did not give up on my YouTube channel. It's on hold till I find the perfect niche for it. Because I realized it was hard for me to grow the YouTube channel because I was doing a lot of different content. You realize if you wake up and you're doing a video on fitness, I've had a time in my life where I was like so into fitness. I used to do a lot of fitness videos.
and you gave up.
I stopped because I was doing fitness, then I was doing skincare, then I was doing travel. So it was a lot. But before I studied digital marketing and learned all these things, I didn't know that it was important to have a certain audience that listens to you. Because if I'm someone who likes to watch workout videos, if I wake up tomorrow and you have posted about how I should, treat my skin, I probably won't give attention to that video, which affects your stats, your viewership. And all these things matter if you want to grow a place like a YouTube channel. So that's why I put it on hold till I can figure out what exactly I want to do, who is my audience, and what content I want to put out there. Yeah. So when I know all that, I know, but I'm not yet ready to start producing content for YouTube right now.
But the podcast, how would you then maintain the podcast? What's stopping you from doing the podcast?
Material. Mics and all this, it's so expensive. Mics, cameras, lights, all those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only thing stopping.
Yeah, that's the only thing stopping.
If I provided that, you would do the podcast.
Yeah. I would.
And then you would not give up on it because content,
I would have the content.
Okay.
It's really amazing when you find something that makes you feel whole. I've had so many times I could have given up on the work I am doing. Not so many people are doing the work I'm doing, and not so many people think they need help from me, right? But I have not given up, even though I could have. Because for me, I'm looking at the future. I know things are changing at a speed that we can't even comprehend. Right now, there's a lot of crazy things. I know a friend who owns a house in the metaverse. I don't know what that's like, but I'll tell you there's a lot of crazy things happening. So we have to move with the world. At least even if you don't know all these things, be where most of the people are, which is social media. Most people, at least now, listen to a few podcasts, and most people have a website. Business owners, most business owners, even those who do not have, at least they have social media. So
what's the impact of websites, by the way? Is there like
before
impact? Yeah, like
I think
I don't visit websites anymore. I don't know. Everything is on. Okay,
our website, I think, is very important if you are the kind of business that's going to need people, like, because for most businesses or companies, our website is just to talk about themselves. Hi, this is who we are, this is what we have done, this is how you can contact us. Yeah, but our website is important if you want to have like a section of a blog, if you need traffic. And for me, that is how I am using my website. Yes, it's a portfolio, but it also has a blog where you help people in your field. I would say like your website right now, if you wanted more people, more listeners, you could start a blog section about podcasts, maybe how to set up a podcast or how to choose guests, things like that. Just give tips to other people who want to start podcasts. So if you're helping people, you're creating an avenue for them to visit your website. And when they visit your website, of course,
that is something I have to do.
Yeah, that is something you should think about it. I'm giving you an idea. If you want, you can take it up.
I want you to help me take it up. Because I'm not going to write this.
Because you see, growing a business is really hard, especially for us creatives. So for me, what I do is give something to the people that they need. Yes, you have a website, but who cares? But if you have a blog on that website and you're giving tips on this and this, things that they want to know, if they check out the blog and they found it really helpful and probably solved maybe something small with their socials, they're probably going to check out your website and see what services you're offering. So that is how you use content marketing to bring people to your company. Technically, you're not telling them, hi, I'm here, I sell mangoes, but you're telling them, okay, mangoes is a crazy example.
Can make very good juice.
But maybe, let me say, if you're selling juice, you could say, what if you have a blog, you could say, here are the benefits of mangoes. What can you blend together with mangoes to make a smoothie or something? How can you make healthy juice? How can you make juice for this and this occasion? Those different things that help people overcome challenges. There are so many people I know, and I'm one of those people myself. I could have fruits, but I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to mix them together to make the perfect juice that I want. We drink different things at restaurants, and you think it's nice, and you clearly know these are bananas, they're almonds, but how do I do this to bring it to this kind of level? Teaching people to do these small things, these small steps is like an introduction. Like you're taking them from a place where they are solving a small challenge, but when they visit your portfolio and where your services are, they actually find out you can actually help them solve bigger problems. Yeah, so it's long. Doing the blogging side to get clients is long, but it is beneficial in the long run because this is evergreen content. It's always going to be there. A child who's going to be produced, a few years from now, will probably come looking for juices and they'll find that content. So it's still going to be helpful even after 2, 3 years, 5 years. Yeah.
And video content?
Video content is also really good. But I'm also not doing it because it needs a lot of investment.
Okay. So,
I think
do you want to own, because there are two things. Yeah, owning the stuff means that you're going to go into the business of this stuff. That's a whole
No, I could own the stuff, but to do it myself because
then you just stick to the convenient stuff.
What do you mean by
you'll probably stick to just small cameras like this, but now like us. Yeah,
I don't want to do a big production. I want to do production for myself, content for my company.
You can use a smartphone, the iPhone.
I can use a smartphone. I have used it. Of course, the 13 Pro is also still very expensive.
Okay. So you're
I have used before. I used to use phone, but you see, when you're uploading these videos, they reduce quality, right?
No, but
so by the time you're uploading a video, it has to be like of the highest quality for it not to reduce. Yeah, so much. So a phone video is still
the tricks. All this editing software we use for this camera software has been modified to the phone versions. So you don't have to send through WhatsApp and all that, but you go through the process. Convert, put it to sizes. There are different sizes for social media and all that, and it would work. But I'm saying, if you're saying the limitation for your own channel
for me,
is equipment.
it's equipment. But I have the content, I have the
just
time.
for yourself. Like, owning equipment, this is why other people pay for me to do their
For you?
podcasts. Yeah? Because I own equipment.
You
And
know-
the
you
farm
know-
owns equipment. Because this is why they take that option. And I want you to listen.
Yeah.
They take that option because equipment comes with expertise. You see
Yeah.
Douglas that side? He's putting together videos that
You've
these
been
are for
working on.
what? No, no, that stuff. There's a lot of other cuts that come in and do that
I know.
stuff. So there's that. Yeah, when you get into the business of owning cameras for you, it means you're going to have an editor for you.
For me, what I want to be able to do is, because I look at, I'm the kind of person who loves to travel. I don't work in one place. As long as I have my laptop and my phone, I can work anywhere. So I want to work in an environment where I know I can always move with my cameras and
Do your work yourself.
and
edit the
do my
videos.
work, and I'll just I use a lot online sharing spaces.
Do you work out? Do you
cloud.
still work out?
I use the cloud a lot. Cloud
Please
storage.
answer. Do you still work out?
Yeah, but not as much as I used to work out.
Because I was going to tell you. You see, once you go into getting, you saw the whole process of setting this up.
I probably need 2 cameras.
Even if you were using one, putting a tripod and connecting a light.
Oh, how much time does that take?
1 minute, 10, 5. It's not
Okay.
about the time. It's about doing it repetitively. Yeah, the consistency of doing it.
Why wouldn't you have
Then
it set
edit.
up?
Because
In
you're
a room
you're a
and
travel person. You're going to move. You're going to set up.
I do
interior.
not mind that.
Then the editing. Once you go into
No,
the
that
editing,
no, I'm not going to do editing.
See.
That is what I outsource. But I want to shoot in a space where, we've all done YouTube videos before, and sometimes you're going to say something, you're like, no, I wanted to say this instead. So all those places, I want to be able to create when I am free, when I'm in a space where I'm not going to feel like, oh, I made a mistake and they were listening. Yeah, I want to be free. And shooting in my own space, in my own comfort zone, gives me that kind of liberty.
I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Because what you want is really complicated to do.
It's not complicated, trust me.
It's better to outsource everything. When you
I
go
can't
as a
outsource
creator,
everything because you're not going to move with me
why
to
wouldn't?
wherever I'm going.
If we're into the business of
That
creating
means I would
content,
have to pay for your transport, for your accommodation, and all that, which is 10 times more expensive than buying my own camera.
it depends on how you want to shoot your content. Again, great content comes with great minds.
My
Great
content is not
contributions.
very complicated, trust me.
But you have to move. It will get boring. You have to keep changing. Look at Raymond Kahuma. Yeah, you have to be that dynamic
I know.
for it to really actually make sense, because he has gotten the numbers. He has had the money, so it has not been limiting. He has the equipment. He has a team. But it's still reinventing. Yeah, he's bringing all these ideas.
But you see,
and all
for
these ideas.
Kahuma's team,
Yeah.
most of his team are his friends, right?
You see my team.
For you, I don't know you like that.
Let me give you now.
For
Let me
you,
speak about
you
my
would
team.
say, I want money to move with you. But those guys, they're like his friends. They'll
Let-
go
no,
with him,
that's
whether
exactly-
they're going to... Yeah, I know he still
me tell you
pays
about my
them,
team. Let me tell you
but
about
they
my
won't
team.
be like, they won't have that resistance like
me-
you would have if I didn't have the money right
Let me
away.
just give you a picture of my team. Let me just break it down. Topmost is Kenneth. His business partner, brother. Second is Catherine, business partner, sister. Third is
The
Douglas.
family business.
Third is Douglas. Childhood friend, schoolmate, very good friend, business partners. I've hung with him since I've been.
That's awesome.
smoked.
Doing business with people
Moses, I've literally raised him. I'm like a big brother to him. I've seen him grow from like home. We have grown up in the same home environment. Everyone, Benjamin, same home environment, same age. We've previously been employed together, to other funds, to all that stuff. So it is still relationships around friends, because that's the only way. That's by the way what I measure success.
That's how you build yourself.
I know that's what I measure success.
Okay.
That the people, that what I'm onto is benefiting the people around me, yeah, and that's fulfilling to me. But it still costs money. Or it still costs, like there's why they're attached to what they're doing, yeah. There's what they get from everyone. It's a win-win situation for everyone that is working here. Same thing I was telling you with Kahuma, like even us, like even when you're outsourcing, there are very many deals you could get. You could be like an artist like Azawi. Songs Avenue provides everything. You win, they win.
Yeah.
You come on as someone who wants to create your content. The ideas are good enough that, because you also have to think about the risk. There's whatever you're going to create not making you money that will change your life or change the people around you. There's a big possibility of that.
But you will create me what will change my life.
I wouldn't, because I do not know the direction you want to take. So I don't know. I'm also just experimenting with a lot of creators. We're doing bad guys, Be-All, Piper. I don't know if it's okay for me to mention the names of these guys, but
I know those guys. It's okay.
I just don't know if they're coming. Yeah, but
If they would
we're
mind,
still doing
it's okay.
With heavy creators, to Tina Fierce, to Who, to Cynthia, to The Myth, to top of the quality guys that are really doing. But the business of content creating is still so complicated that it might not produce the results. Because even look at the
And
distribution
actually,
platforms.
what I want to do with my business is merge content creation with business. To get from the point where we are creating all this content and shooting and clipping and making all these sizes for the different platforms to how we can monetize it, because that's where the money is. If you're not earning, why are we spending thousands of hours shooting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. How are you going to earn? Like, how do you
So it goes
position
back
yourself?
to every person that you are hosting, all those people you're working with. It goes back to where they see their productions or podcasts or whatever you're doing with them, where they see it and how far are they willing to go for it. And who is on their team? Who is helping them like take different directions, you know?
Where did you, after graduation is when you went to study digital marketing? And you got
No,
certified?
I actually got certified way before I graduated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really a big passion.
Yeah, it is.
Do you ever want to branch into tech to like write your own code?
I would want to, but I don't think I have the time.
Where's all your time? What do you do with your time?
Because you see, the problem is when you want to know everything, then you won't have the time to become really good at one thing. Yes, I use a lot of tech tools in my work, but I don't want to learn code. Because if I learn code, then I will think I can probably do this website on my own. But then that means I would have to sacrifice time I would use to do something else that would propel my business to the next level. So at some point, it's good to delegate. So I can't be the superhero and the villain and the everything at the same time. I can't be the one rescuing myself and then saving myself, and then I'm the one in danger at the same time. So let some people do some other things.
What's that saying? What's that?
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master to none. But that analogy does not make sense, because you see, for you to be I'm a really good salesman. It's one thing I really, really do good besides all the stuff. Yeah, it's like a natural born thing. I think it just
Good
comes.
for you. Very many people struggle with sales.
Yeah. So, but I'm a really good salesman. I could resell myself in different environments to different people in different perspectives. And I also want to, I believe in the power of closing. Like, I always finish something. I do it, I get to it, I finish it. But, and I was connecting it to, what was I telling you before I told you I was a salesman?
Master of everything.
Yeah, the jack of all trades. You really need to have an understanding of how things really work. I didn't want to edit. My friends could edit. Dad taught me how to edit. But then I have to understand the complications of what it takes to edit a video for me to understand what type of video I want to produce to the world. You understand that? Yeah. In the process, you can pick up and become really good at editing. I know the whole process of setting up a podcast. Yeah. I do not need anyone to do this podcast. Like I can just plug the mics, then from here, take the camera, do the podcast and put it on YouTube. Some conversations on YouTube, I have done all that myself. Most of my conversations, by the way, usually they happen in times where the team is out or in the night, because I have a full-time job during the day, so sometimes I don't schedule them during the day. I instead schedule them in the evening when everyone else is gone. So I do them myself. But it means that I have to divide my time in a way that I have to learn bits of these things. Some, by the way, it's like a continuous process. It's like photography. It's like videography. You have to learn the camera. You have to learn all that stuff. You have to start getting a passion to move out to take good pictures. Then you get, but the people who like specialize and do pictures.
And I get that. I actually know how to edit in Premiere Pro.
I've seen you take pictures. I've also seen you date a photographer, so you definitely must.
Date a photographer?
Yeah, haven't you?
No way.
I've
never dated a photographer.
You don't have a relationship with that guy. What's his name?
I know everyone thought I was dating Eddie, but I wasn't.
Okay, good. I don't know if
We're
it's good for
good
you.
friends.
Okay.
I don't even get it.
But you know how to.
How to?
I've seen you with the camera. You know how to take pictures. I've also. Do you take pictures?
With my phone.
Okay. You don't know how to operate any of the gadgets behind. But
No.
all right. You just want to learn when you start your own content.
Yep.
So you have to invest more time, like you invested into the digital creation, to now learn this.
That will probably take me a week to learn that, or less. Because if it's something I'm going to be doing every day, it's easy to learn something when you're continuously doing it.
I've done.
How much time do you think it took me to learn how to edit videos?
Do you think you're a good editor of videos?
Good enough to produce the kind of work I wanted.
Your Instagram videos were edited by you. Your YouTube videos.
Which Instagram videos?
So wait, YouTube.
Yeah.
Were always, all of them were edited by you.
Like 99% of them. I mean, at that level, it was good enough for me. But right now, I know that that's not the kind of work I need. I need something that's really good. And if I were to shoot my own videos, I now would need a really good editor. So maybe you could help me with that bit of the work.
No, we'll talk about your podcast. Definitely. We'll talk about how to produce it. We are experimental. If you looked at our website, we're experimental content creators. You bring to us an idea and then we want to give it to life. Of course, there are times and but we're producing really good content and we want people to tell their own stories. Our tagline is only human stories. Only you can tell your stories. And we want to see your stories out there. So we'll definitely help you. If they make sense, not to us, but if they make sense to you and you feel like there'll be something, there can always be an arrangement. It's just that the consistency also of creating content that, like you say, that is not bringing money. The content that is not bringing money.
You give up if you're not the kind of person who really wants what you're doing.
How would you monetize your podcast?
How would I monetize my podcast?
How do you think you're going to monetize your podcast when you start?
Of course, before you monetize, you need some amount of listenership, right? You need a specific audience before you can take a proposal to a relevant brand and tell them, I have this kind of podcast, I have this many listeners, and here's what we can do. I think for me, just mentioning someone on a podcast would count as a way to monetize. Then the other way would be selling these podcasts. There are people who buy podcasts for their platforms. There are platforms that host podcasts. Let me say, the way you see Netflix, the way they have, you see different movies that we've watched from years ago get hosted on these platforms. Yeah, so there are similar platforms like that host podcasts.
How much money do you think you can get from streams that is good enough to sustain your podcast right now from Uganda?
I have no idea because I'm not in the business right now. But I know I would know how to put it out there.
And monetize. You have enough brands that you think would buy.
My some of my YouTube content was monetized through third party even before I got I actually didn't get the YouTube monetization. But I used to get paid by other people who wanted maybe for me to mention them or say something about them. Yeah. I mean, if you think big, there's always a way. As long as your content is relevant enough for that brand and you can make a good pitch, they'll listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
What legacy are you trying to leave behind? Who are you? Do you understand yourself? The person you are? Like your purpose? Have you figured out? Do you understand what you believe in? Do you understand your God? Do you understand the concept of God? Like,
yeah, I do.
Who are you?
First of all, I know God. I believe in God and I love God. And I think that is a foundation for so many things I do in my life and the way I relate with people. But going back to that, I'm a very emotional person. So most times when I am hurt, I tend to draw back from certain things or certain people. I might not entirely cut ties, but I try to limit, because if I have been hurt before, then I don't want to go back to that situation with the same person. So if I know someone is probably not, we're not aligning very well in how we are relating, we're not agreeing on things, then we'll probably have to loosen up a bit and just, have some space. Remain in contact.
Were you
but not
hurt
so
by
much.
Laban?
Yeah. But we're not talking about that right now.
That is a good answer.
Yeah.
Okay, you talked about you being an emotional person. What are you doing about that? Do you think it's a good thing to be an emotional person? Do you know how to have control on your emotions?
Yeah, I
Do you
believe
like
I
meditate?
do.
How do you take control and realize? How do you try and live in the present
It's kind of hard for me, but most times how I deal with my emotions, I cry it out till I feel like, okay, everything is out. Now I can think with a straight mind. Because most times I try so hard not to cry about some people, like, it's not worth it, like, why should I? But when I let it all out, or I write, because as long as I feel things falling out of me, I'm putting it either on a paper or I'm crying it out and asking myself questions and saying, why did they do this, or why should they have done that? And then at the end of that whole time encounter, I give myself reasons why they could have done what they did, and I find it within myself to let it go and just say, maybe if there is an explanation to be given, they'll probably give it, and if they don't, then that's it. I'll forgive them and just let it go.
What's your purpose in life?
I think my purpose for me is to change people's lives, to have an impact in the people that I meet, the people that I work with. I want to, when I leave, people to feel that I have been somewhere and I've done something there that they will remember.
Have you experienced love?
Yeah.
How do you... Love could come in very many things, could be from your parents. How do you define that? Do you think love is unconditional?
Only God's love is unconditional, I would say.
And it's imaginary, yeah? You can't explain God's love. It could be unreal.
Me, I've felt it.
How? Please tell us, Pastor.
From the so many experiences that I have had and so many situations I never thought I could survive, or things that you have probably done and you feel like I am the worst person, but you find it within yourself to forgive yourself, to love again, to forgive, to talk with people who you wouldn't talk to. I mean, it takes a certain level of, I wouldn't say emotional intelligence, because there are many people who have better emotional intelligence than me, but probably would never talk to people who have, hurt them before. But I think the fact that I know a God who is greater than anything, I am able to let go of so many things and just chill. Yeah. But if someone has hurt me before, I would probably still talk to them and, chill with them, but I wouldn't give them the same level of access they had to me.
What do you define by hurt? Is it betrayal?
Yes, it is betrayal and probably doing something I wouldn't do. Yeah.
But you can only be betrayed by the people that love you. Because then that's when it can only make sense that it's betrayal.
Sometimes you actually think people love you, but they don't. Do you know that's possible too?
No, but you also know love fades. Then you also love is complicated. It's full with emotions. And
yeah, it's really complicated.
How can I say?
I think one thing I have come to understand is if it is really like a decision that is life-changing or that is going to affect a huge part of the things that you do. For example, maybe your relationship with your parents or your siblings or your work. If there are those kinds of very serious situations, then you probably don't have to make a decision at a time where you are very emotional or you are in a bad place, because you could make a terrible decision. So just don't decide then. Yeah. Because so many people act on their emotions. Even the way we buy things is very connected to emotions.
How would you say now? Yeah, like... How so? How do you mean?
How so? I don't know which example an ad to give you, but you've probably seen an ad of something you never thought you would buy, but because of the way it's presented and the people probably acting out a certain skit and the message, it starts to look appealing to you. Why? Not because you actually thought it was a nice product or it was something you could use, but because of the way it has been brought to you, the emotion they've attached to it, the way they have shown this product change someone's life. You start to feel that endearment, like maybe like there's a bigger purpose that this product or this company has behind all this. You start to change the way you feel about something, and sooner or later, if you start feeling like that, you find yourself asking yourself more questions about this product until you're like the curiosity will kill you until you give it a try.
What do you think about AI in terms of marketing?
In terms of marketing, I think it's really powerful. I have written with AI before. It's really good, but it doesn't compare to human writing. Because you will read some sentences and they are so off. Like, it's so blank, it's so plain.
But look at it in this perspective where triggers ads quickly, it easily converts the life around you and then sells it to the highest bidder to be able to sell you something.
One thing we have no control over is technology. Unless you are like a tech guru, you're not going to control the ads you see on your phone.
I don't have ads on my phone.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And I'm using an Android phone.
So you don't see any ads on Twitter? Yeah. You are lying.
I've blocked them out. I have Twitter Blue. I check on my Twitter.
Yeah, but there are... Yeah, you might have blocked them on your phone.
I've blocked them on Twitter as well.
But you won't close your eyes if you see it on that street somewhere.
The ad?
I
won't pay attention to it. Like, that's the thing with me. Like, I already know it's advertising. I don't believe in it. I believe, you're just banking real estate in my mind about some shit you want me to sell. It's like YouTube videos and ads and people selling courses. I always think about it. But right now, you mentioned something about the blogs that I've considered that you'll have to come on board to help me do it. Of course, now there's a whole process. You can tell people how to set up a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You would know how to write blogs on your own. But the mind with which you're writing them and the purpose with which you are writing them is the most important things. Because I know you probably know so many good writers. I have worked with so many writers myself.
I've also written before, but I wrote about a heartbreak.
Why does it always start with heartbreak?
It's the only thing I could write about.
Yeah, but let me tell you that most people find some things when they're at their lowest. If I had not experienced heartbreak, I probably wouldn't have worked on my writing skills.
How bad was your heartbreak?
It wasn't actually bad.
What heartbreak?
Yeah, I was just disappointed by someone I really trusted. But because of that, I wanted to put it down and I wanted to share it. And that's how it all started.
Where have you shared this? Can I read?
Why do you want to read it? Yeah, you can read it. It's still available on Wattpad.
What else have you written about?
Right now, mostly I write about marketing and online business.
There's a podcast I listen to. It's called Marketing Over Coffee. They do 30 minutes clips of stuff. They talk about stuff, marketing trends, and all that. Yeah, I just like it. I'm just telling you about it. What podcast do you listen to?
I listen to 30 Minutes of Growth and...
Ugandan podcasts?
I don't know.
You don't listen to Ugandan podcasts. 30 Minutes of Growth. You like growth stuff, eh?
And
you
online
feed your
marketing.
mind a lot. There's a lot of chunk stuff.
It's not a lot of chunk.
I have a lot of books, but I believe that it's so much.
I also have books. I have 4 now. I'm growing my collection slowly. Yeah, but I love to read. No, paperback. I love to read things that build me on a spiritual and personal level. Something that's going to take me somewhere. Something that's going to help me with my mindset, with my attitudes, habits, things like that. And in my work, of course. Yeah, that's what I want to listen to, or I want to watch, because I want to grow as a person. I want to grow on a personal level. You have like 20 minutes.
No, I have a lot of time.
I don't have a lot of time. I need to go get ready for an event.
What event?
In the evening.
What you have a lot of? Where do you stay? Chihuahua?
No, I came from Entebbe, but I have an event at the French residence tonight.
You're influencing.
Yeah.
So you are going to wear a dress.
Why? What would make you think I'm going to wear a dress?
It's an event. You've talked about it like it's glamour. Are you going to wear a dress?
It's not glamour, but most of these are diplomats. So yeah, I'm going to wear a dress. It's supposed to be.
What's the experience like
casual.
being around diplomats? Do you feel like one of them is going to tip you and give you like your
first of all, I do not expect them to tip me, but I like to talk to them. Well, most times I don't approach them, but I'm introduced. I'm introduced by people I already know around. Yeah, of course, for just to share ideas and see what people think about different things, and probably pitch myself if there's anyone who's interested in the kind of work I do. Yeah. That's the main reason I attend these events. Because I need to look for people who can support me in my work.
Okay, what legacy?
I believe in working with different people.
I am delighted that, I don't know, but I want to work with you on mostly the podcast.
I'd like to work with you too.
You should follow up on that. But also, I would want you to come onto the blog posting. I want to get that started. Then also, I'm gambling a lot with the marketing. And that's like my whole entire department. And the guys are really kicking ass with their departments, the editors, the investors, the who's, it's just the marketing that is still.
Have you
but we were putting in plans. We're really pushing.
You're doing well. It's not great, but you're doing a good job. You're trying.
It's not like
if I am to compare with some of the podcasts I've seen.
Of course, with podcasts, no one is beating me at
very
that.
well.
With
Yeah.
podcasts, no, that one I know, but it's such a small finger in the deep. Okay, do you want to ask me anything before we go?
Who are you?
Oh my, I'm a very good salesman.
I want to know who you are as Karen, not what you can do.
In what terms?
As in regards to life and values and...
Values, I never have one night stands. I've never had one with anyone that says about who I bring closer into my actual. And yes, I like to talk about things like that because people like to ignore the concept of sex and what it means around them. And
You seem to like sex a lot.
no. But yes, I like any
It's
other.
like the closest thing. It's like the closest thing to your speech
Smile.
when they start speaking. Like, hey, I had a nice stand. Oh, I have a baby mama. What?
That's crazy. But yeah, I have. Weird that I brought it in that perspective. Yes.
You've mentioned it more than 3 times.
To any other guys, I don't do that because I respect my space. I believe I am the prize.
Oh,
Yes.
I like that.
So it's just that can speak so much about me.
It
But
does. It does as long as you do not do it to an extent that makes you look toxic.
No, I don't know what to. I have another podcast. It's called Guy Go with Omara. It's talking about toxic stuff. I will publish it soon. People, I don't know how they'll receive it. I don't think it's toxic.
I know you
It's
can.
main
I know
stuff.
you can be very toxic. I've seen you be very toxic online.
How? What's your definition of toxic?
Okay,
no,
I
it's just
I
because
wouldn't.
it's your friend.
No, not because
But you
it's
don't know
my
the impact of
friend.
what they did to me.
But I think
Yeah.
what I think
Yeah.
is you are very opinionated, which is very okay, and you're not afraid to speak your mind.
That's why I have a
But the problem is you do not think about whatever you're saying will affect someone else. And you just said you are empathetic.
Yeah, it's like one of my biggest crushes.
Then why don't you care?
I do, but it's the internet is different. I also don't. I treat it as
Come
that.
on, why is it different?
To me,
If
look,
you
I'm
are
not
you,
looking-
Karen, the empathetic person, why are you not empathetic
I'm not
online?
even- it's look because I'm not like okay, now that things have gotten tight and I have like a whole team, so how to represent them matters. But I'm not like looking out to be some type of way to humans that are not around me. Yeah, you see Dougie, Moses, and who else? To me, those are very key people in my life because you see, I spend a big chunk of time. I'm not saying that strangers I should mistreat them. No, I don't care.
I like
about my
that you use
gender,
mistreat because you do mistreat
No,
them.
no, not really. But it's about I don't really want to give control to people who are not directly around me. But if I know someone, and in this specific person, the person you really think, I thought I knew them, so it was some bit of betrayal. But then I could also show them that, you know what, I have so much power around my online presence that you can't even reach, that I can still stay standing. What you think you can break is bigger than you. To me, that is, and I like to prove points when I want to, when there's like need to prove a point.
Yeah, you do.
Even though I
You
feel
do
I
like to
have-
prove a point. But have you ever
But I'm
thought
getting out of that.
Have you ever thought of just
Yeah, that's what I'm on
like
about
say
now.
whatever you want to say? I'm not going to comment.
That's
anything.
what I'm on about now, but it's also stages. Yeah, I feel like now that's
Saves
where
you a
life
lot
has
of
put
trouble.
you. Yeah, I know my parents have grown up telling us, city settle, just blah 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 blah. If you keep quiet, you don't regret what you said. But I also don't believe into the concept of hiding my emotions. Like I went back to this person by the way, and I apologized like months later, but they blocked me after they didn't want to deal with my shit, which is okay. It's understandable. How people deal with their trauma is entirely up to them. But me going back to them is to show them that if it's about feeling and stuff, yeah, I really have a different direction and I have my own motives with life.
But you're open to change, right?
Yeah, anytime like I change my mind about stuff all the time.
Not changing how you react online to different things.
Definitely, and it has greatly
I
changed.
mean, it's good to embrace change, you know.
It's important. It's also a good thing. Like it's also stages. You grow out of some stuff. You focus more on other stuff. Right now, there's a lot of stuff that takes a lot of my time, and I believe in selling my mind. Now I stopped selling time.
So, do you believe people need to see the you who is empathetic?
No.
Because people's
I have a charity
perceptions
organization,
of
okay,
you
that's stupid.
online go back to the real person you are.
The perceptions of me?
Yes. It really matters a
perceptions.
lot.
No, they don't.
It really matters.
Let me tell you, by the way, I've impacted a lot of people online. That a lot of what their space of influencing has strategically been the people that think that matter. Yeah. Like I have built such like I'm such a good, and I'm not saying this because I have to say it, but it's important that I say it, that I am that person who wishes everyone around them wins. This is how I am built. From, if you have a talk with my dad, he will give you that. That's how I've been raised as a child. I've always just wanted to share with everyone else. It's just naturally on me. Like, I want to see any other people win. I have been doing this content creation. I create a lot of content for people. Some of it is free. Some of it we're experimenting. It's an industry. Because to me, it's that I am willing to avail my energy for any good cause. So once I sleep in like a tweet or something, and then you focus on that, I look at that as shallow. And also, it doesn't even change. I am not looking at changing in the next minute. Because some of what you might consider that he's a toxic guy is actually informed from my experience. I've had women that have had my past really bad. Yeah, there's lots of investment there. There's money and its evils around where you've injected it and shit has gone so bad. So there's a lot, like I told you, a lot of how I make my decisions is informed from my pasts, yeah? How I treated someone, how they reacted. So I keep changing. The whole goal of when you asked who I am is I do not know who I am, but I know I want to be a better human being every other time. And that's what I practice. But it's not on anyone's weighing scale, yeah? I don't care what you, Joy.
Yeah, I guess that's why it goes wrong, because everyone out there has a weighing scale for you.
Yeah, but then that's them, man.
But anyway, it should not matter. If you within
you come into my life,
you
like,
are working on being better, then that's what counts.
Matters. Exactly.
It would be a different case if you were whatever people think you are and you didn't care and you were not looking at being a better version of yourself.
That's it. Okay, I think that's the conversation. Thank you for coming, and I really liked this.
Yeah, I did.
You should come on, probably when you come on next we'll have like specific topics. Let's talk about marketing and Yeah, but I like to have guests come back on, not just come one time. People should know that people are my friends, really. They come back on, and it's just podcasts. You can do as many conversations as you can.
I mean, it's just talking and chatting.
Sawa.